Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 44 of Celestial Journey. Since the last time I cleared out this drawer, we have another 9 stacks of neutron piles. Once again, let's craft some of those into ingot or into nuggets. I'd like to again leave about 100 piles behind, but with this, let's see how many more neutron collectors we can make. Maybe 3? 3 may have been a little ambitious. Well, if it's firelight we're missing, then that's not all that ambitious. Alright, looks like I have to go to, what's it called, Vethia real quick. Get some more firelight. Not a big deal. So as before, firelight is found on the top level of Vethia here. This fire crystal is pretty easy to come across. In fact, I think I have plenty of it. I'm not even going to really bother with getting much more. But the blue crystals are much rare. They only spawn in these like crystal gardens, and each garden only has a handful of pieces. Good news is we only need like 4 or 6 per neutron collector, so I think like 2 or 3 gardens should provide enough. But yeah, the blue crystal is a lot rarer than the red one, and I think that's 23 is all you get from a single garden, and they are pretty sparse. At least the first time I went through here, I didn't have night vision, so I had a hard time spotting them in the distance. But even now with night vision, they're not easy to spot. Found another one. I think between, if we get 43 each, we'll have, what, 40, or 23 each, we'll have 46 after raiding this. That should be enough to carry us through to the end. Alright, so now let's make those neutron collectors. And in fact, I'm only going to make 2 for now, I think. I have to put those in there, don't I? Because if I were to make 3, I'll just show you. It takes up a lot of these runes, which means, you know, they're going to start recrafting, and that's going to pretty quickly use up a lot of the, like, the dusts I have in storage. That's not what I want. So I kind of want to keep some of that dust because I need some of it to do what I want to do today. So we're just going to make 2 because I think these 2, yeah, they don't have to make many gems because it's mostly using the neutronium that had already been collected. Cool. So, see how long that'll be. Less than a minute. Alright, we can watch this one, I think. Although there's really nothing to see here, is there? Just a bunch of green lights flashing on and off. Almost done. So as this finishes, these will be neutron collectors number 7 and 8, I believe. And my plan, remember, is to make 10. I think. There we go. Is to make 10. So in the time that I have between when these finish and when enough neutrons collect to make 2 more, I want to prepare some of the other things we need before we go on our, virtual vacation, I think I called it. And actually, I have a better plan than that. If instead of going on a virtual vacation, I can... See, right now, I'm supposed to be on vacation. I had a vacation planned. I was supposed to be on a cruise, and all of a sudden the coronavirus hit. And obviously that wasn't happening anymore. So that got canceled. However, I'm thinking, if instead of going on this virtual vacation, I take a real vacation to how do I describe this? But I take it at relativistic speeds. That's to say I go at nearly the speed of light. I can make it so that I can have my 45-day vacation and I'll be back in time to put out tomorrow's episode or whenever we're ready. So I think I want to do that. I get to go toward the universe at, basically the speed of light, and you guys don't miss an episode. Seems like a great deal, right? All I need is a rocket that goes fast enough. Anyways, but the rocket's the easy part. The hard part is before I can go, I have to make all my preparations ready. So that is, we need 62, I think was the number, creative keys. I don't have to make them all now, but I want to get a good head start on it, So what are we missing to make, let's say 6 more creative keys. Alright, I gave up on that crafting plan after a couple minutes. So one thing I definitely know we need is processors. For logic processors, we have a bunch of them, right? We have, 7,000 stacks there and a few more here. However, we're pretty short on calculation processors. And if we look at, I think this should be pretty easy to generate. If you look at the use here, for every logic processor, we use about a 3-to-1 ratio of calculation processors. So we're going to need a lot more calculation processors. The solution then is probably just to set up another one of these inscriber towers. It doesn't have to go quite as high, right? I think this is 16 units. We can probably just go like 5. That's about 3-to-1 on maybe a little bit more because we don't have a huge, we have a backlog of logic processors to go through, so maybe like 8. Anyways, and we can even reuse the silicon processors here because we have, those all backlogged. In fact, I'll even put drawer upgrades on those. Cool. So should be pretty simple to set up, just a bunch of conduit configuring. Building this once again reminded me how much I missed the advanced inscriber from 82 stuff or whatever. But here we have it. One set of 8 inscribers making printed calculation circuits. One set of 8 making calculation processors. Dumping them all into a drawer. Cool. So now we should be able to make, in fact, if I just order these, let's see if I can make 10. No, I don't have a CPU big enough. That makes sense. Anyways, I'll order them piecemeal. It'll take a little bit of time for, this to create enough processors anyways, because I don't have all that many. Another thing we want to prepare before going on our vacation are the singularities. So if we look, there's only a handful of singularities that we need, but I mean, we may as well get them made now, right? So let's see. We're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 times, how many drums do we need? I think it's 4 drums? 2 drums to make that, 2 drums here. So yeah, let's see. So we're going to need 16 iron singularities in that. And I think there's at least one more type of singularity, and 10 lapis singularities. And I think that might actually be it. Redstone singularities we only need for these extreme crafting tables. And in fact, we almost definitely have enough. So I think I can even, I'll break this cable to disconnect it. So I'm no longer, effectively voiding redstone. Yeah, because I have 95 singularities. That's plenty. Anyways, let's see. Are there any others that have uses? Nope, just those 2. Cool. So I made one more neutronium compressor than I need to. Oopsies. There we go. No one saw that. So I'm going to set up the same system here that we have, sending in redstone as long as we have above a certain threshold of it. And I'll do it for each of these other iron and lapis singularities. That was pretty simple. Again, I just copied more or less the setup, except I changed the relevant blocks to iron and lapis. So they'll run until we have less than 20,000 blocks in the network, at which point they'll turn off. It's also likely that because we only need a handful of these, I'll just come and manually turn them off after I have enough, because I'm not automatically extracting. Anyways, that's one more potential problem taken care of. Next up isn't really a problem of scale, it's just something that has to be done once. And that is the creative drum uses a lot of these demonically gargantuan drums, which are pretty obnoxious to make. They take demonic large plates and a bunch of various upgrades and yada yada yada. But the worst part is these large plates, because they have to be made in a smeltery, and they take 26 seconds a pop. So in fact, let's see, we need, I think by my calculation, we need just short of 200 of these to finish a pack, and that's going to take another 574 large plates. So to make these, well, first we have to make the demon metal. So that is done by taking gold ingots, and let's get a bunch of these, and just throwing them into lava. Well, you throw them into lava when the lava is surrounded by nether bricks. And when you do this, you just get to trade gold for demon ingots. Cool. Then we just have to melt it down and cast it into large plates. Next up, also in the interest of preempting problems, are demon hearts. So we have 2, which I got from, at least I'm 90% sure I got them from the demon or from another fortress. However, we're going to need more than 2. So far I've only been using them in these rituals where I effectively get them back, right? Because the boss drops it. However, we're going to have to make green hearts at some point, and the only way to get green hearts is to craft it, because the green heart canister is a component in the blood tier, which is a component in the infinity ingot. So we're going to need some way to summon demons. I expect that is done through one of these rituals. So there's a couple types of demons we can summon. We can go for the higher demons, which include Baphomet and Leonard, which we've already summoned. However, the problem with these is obviously, well, at least for those, is I think those are the only ones that are implemented right now, for one. And for two, they take the demon heart to summon them. And for three, they can't be, you can't like capture them to put them in a spawner. So instead of going for higher demons, let's go for lesser demons. And I think they have to still be demons. So we have to, in this, demon and demoness chapter, we have to do this ritual, which, as far as I can tell, is the same circles, like the same ritual circle as we already have. And nothing in the supply list is difficult. So we just need these supplies to summon a demon. And hopefully we can capture this demon and, summon him, spawn him through conventional means. So I have the recipe encoded as a demon heart. When I request this, it should put the materials in here, and kind of remember how I set this up. I think you move the materials in here, flip the switch, listen to my phone ding if you heard that, and it requires a sacrifice of a villager. While I was here to find a villager sacrifice, I noticed a small problem with my blood altar, and that was I was actually running out of blood. What happened is I'm crafting something here. I don't even remember what it's called, but it's for the here. Look it up, I guess. It's this Elysium block because we need it for Elysium glass, for rainbow glass later on for the creatives. So just a case of we'll get it started. But hi there, zombie. Hi there, creeper. But this process takes a lot of blood. In fact, if I look here, it takes 2,000 LP a tick. So this altar is actually being fed by three undertakes. Anyways, because this was taking so much blood, I was actually running out of blood for like here on this altar and on my other altars. So I decided, well, let's just spawn more stuff. I first tried spawning just putting another villager thing here. However, it turns out the mob cap is per unit type. So putting a second villager spawner didn't actually spawn anymore. So I just put a pig spawner here, and now my villagers bleed with the pigs. It also produces twice as much blood, and that's the whole point here. Anyways, now that I have our villager soul, I think I can just place him here, slaughter him, and that should summon a demon. Maybe? I know I have the creative altar power, so while that works, let's grab a mob imprisonment tool to capture the demon in. It made a hissing sound. There we go. Oh, he trades. Okay, we can capture him. Are your trades interesting? Other steel. Hey, could you not? Alright, we're gonna go kill him now. So I'm pretty sure I can head over to the nether and spawn him in our spawners. Aha! Take that, demons. I haven't actually checked if they drop hearts. Oh, they drop a lot of stuff. Hold on. I gotta make room for these in our lockers. But they do drop demon hearts. Oh, they also drop this nether steel, scorn bricks, quartz, and bottles of enchanting. Alright, well, I'm just gonna add these somewhere on our drop drawers, and then we can turn that spawner back on. Haha, demons, meet your demise. Alright, so that should take care of all the demon hearts I could ever need. Next up, we have this blood altar, which I've already given a sneak peek for, but it's crafting a bunch of terra steel into those Elysium blocks. It's doing it a whole stack at a time. So if you look in the upper left-hand corner, to craft a stack takes where's the commas go? We need commas in these big numbers. Just short of 30 million LP. And at 2 million a sec or 2 million a tick, it takes a very long time. So my plan was just I'll manually drop off a whole lot of terra steel, like sure, that much terra steel, and let it run. And that'll probably take, a couple hours at the least to run through all that Terra steel. But this altar I don't really use for anything else anymore. Like, it's my on-demand crafting altar, but all of these inscription tiles I now passively craft. So unless I need to make blood-filled sockets, I guess that's really the only thing here that I craft with this altar. But for now, it's been converted into my craft a bunch of Elysium altar, just to see how much of that Elysium stuff we need, and I guess also how much Adrosium we need. I put the recipe for rainbow glass in. And rainbow glass is used, let's see, I think it's only in the creative drum, 20 pieces per drum, and we need 4 drums total. So we need 80 of this. Let's see, so block of cold iron. All right, that's not too bad. I've actually already crafted all the Adrosium ingots I need for this. I need a bit more Adrosium because there's other uses for Adrosium glass. So I'm going to keep Adrosium crafting up. But once I encode the recipe for block of cold iron, which I assume is just cold iron in, a block. Yeah. Okay. Then, there's actually, I guess that means I have enough Elysium already, right? I don't need to make any more? 320 blocks? Okay. I guess I'll stop crafting it then. Yeah, as far as Adrosium goes, however, in addition to the, let's see, it's 1 per piece of rainbow glass, right? So we need 80 Adrosium glass for the rainbow glass, but we also need 4 per creative flux pack, and we need 62 of these. So 62 times 4, it's like 250. I don't think we're at 250 yet. Oh boy, this is going to take some work. Out of gas tiers. Wow. Okay, I guess I need more gas seeds in my farm. Anyways, I guess I'll just what I've been doing is whenever that altar's been free, I just request some. Right now, I can only request a few because I'm still out of gas tiers. But because I don't have, I still have to craft these coalescence and diffusion cores as well. Generally speaking, when I find that I need more of a resource, all I do is come plant more. Now, before I was planting them such that no 2 plants were adjacent, because, I'll just demonstrate. If I place the crop sticks here and I don't plant a seed in it almost immediately, another plant will migrate into it. Because, the adjacent plants, when they're fully grown, are allowed to migrate. So, like, it's kind of like a speed game. Like, it wasn't fast enough there. Still wasn't fast enough. There we go. Eventually, I get the right seed planted by planting the crop sticks and immediately planting the seed. But it's like not that difficult, all things considered. It's just a hoop you have to jump through when you have farms this fast. Anyways, I added 5 more gas seeds, which should be processed in one of these. Gas essence. There we go. And that'll improve my gas tier production. I guess all of our gas tiers were spent making gas pumpkins, but it's almost done filling up the door, so then we'll have a gas tier backlog soon. It takes 8 tiers per pumpkin, and the ratio of essence to tiers are pretty bad. It's, full 9 to 1. Like, that's the same ratio as diamonds and emeralds and gas. So it takes it a little while to make a bunch of gas pumpkins. Another thing I saw that we needed was more Salus Mundus. So I'll just increase the limit on the drawer here, and this thing will craft them up for me. What else was there? Just so that I'm ready to tackle all bottlenecks. Let's see. So our gas tiers are building back up again. I need to make a bunch of cores. That kind of sucks, but I guess I'll just go craft these. So, let me hook up a system that'll make crafting these a little bit easier. It'll be similar to what we have for crafting the cloth, except I don't want to hook up 1,000 different ender chests here, there, and everywhere, right? My plan is I have a ME interface here with the patterns for the coalescence and diffusion cores, and they dump their contents into an ender chest. So if I want, let's start with the coalescence core. I forget how many I needed. Somewhere around 2,000, right? I guess I can't make 2,000 at a time. Somewhere around 1,000, right? So if I request 1,000 of these, it'll start dumping materials in here. All I have to do is head over to here. I'll have to add this new ender chest to our network, and this is fine as long as this network here doesn't get too big, right? So like 4 ender chests worth of stuff is not, going to break the bank. And then all I have to do is fly around to all these various terminals. Technically, I guess I have to empty them out first, but then I can just uses, drop this in, and craft them here. And again, they'll craft much faster because we're on a small subnet. And I just have to fly, as usual, terminal to terminal to get them all. And in just a matter of a couple minutes, I can, craft 1,000 of them. I would go make the other 1,000, but apparently I don't have enough stainless. In fact, I might add a second alloy smelter, maybe a couple more alloy smelters making stainless, because I do recall this process takes a little while, right? Which one is it? This one? Yeah, it takes a little while. I'll add another couple alloy smelters here. All right, so 4 alloy smelters making stainless, and I also scaled up the molybdenum production to match it. That should give us enough stainless to, let's see, we needed that for the various cores, right? So coalescence cores and diffusion cores, I think they take 2 each. For 1,000 to take 2,000 stainless. So yeah, all right, it'll take a little while to fill up this drawer to 128 stacks. That's just over 8,000 stainless, but it'll get there automatically. Remember that demon steel we started the episode with? I think a lot of it has finished casting into plates, so we should be able to make 200 drums now. Yep. I'm a little concerned about these reservoir crafting recipes. I suspect I'll have to move them over to an RF Tools crafter because they're very similar to like the capacitors and the jetpacks. The same recipes that have gotten stuck before. So I have little reason to expect these to work, but I'm going to give it a shot. Aside from that, nothing here seems particularly interesting. Go. Oh, it looks like it's actually working. All right, well, I'll just let it run, and at the end, we'll see if we have 200 drums or not. Yep, looks like the recipe got stuck here. I think these 1,200 reinforced reservoirs it thinks it has are not actually reinforced reservoirs. But let me cancel this and see what it gives back. No, they actually are reinforced reservoirs. It just didn't want to craft drums out of them. It failed to do this recipe for some reason. All right, well, I'll just move that recipe over to RF Tools Crafter. I honestly am not sure why AE2 gets stuck on these sometimes, but it does. So the easy way to convert these recipes is, you know what? Let me try it without substitutions. There's a chance this fixes it. There's also a very good chance that this doesn't. But if it fixes it, this is the easier solution. All right, so good luck. 200. Didn't fix it. Okay, yeah. So to convert it to a processing, or like I guess we are converting it to a processing task. Start by pulling the recipe out. I may have shown this already. If so, sorry. And simply convert it to a crafting, or from a crafting recipe to a processing recipe. Save it. Find a spare RF Tools crafter that has room in it. How do you know you don't really have room? You have room. You don't have room. You have room. Yeah, this will do. So you put the recipe in here, and then when you request it, start by requesting 1, because you have to come into the crafter itself and encode the recipe. And then you can request however many you like. So now when I request these, all the drums should get dumped in here. And you see, again, I don't know why AE2 doesn't want to craft it, like the recipe clearly works, but whatever. We'll just use an external crafter. And now we have our demonically gargantuan. Sweet. Next thing to automate is the creation of Blessed Stone. So we need a fair bit of this because it's used in both infinity catalysts as well as crystal clusters. And So, right, we need 8 crystal clusters per tank or per drum, and we need, I've already forgotten how many drums. 4, was it? Let's see. I think, right, yeah, 2 drums per pool, 2 pools, or the thing. So we need 4 times 8. We need 32 crystal clusters. So in total, we're going to need like 32 plus a few. We're going to need somewhere around 40 blessed stone. Anyways, normally the recipe uses the ceremonial blood orb. However, it doesn't consume it. So I'm just putting it in the RF Tools crafter that has my blood orb. And let's order one. All right, so there's a few steps in here. It has to create, the daggers, among other things, which are made in infusion. So that'll take a little while, but start. Let's see how it goes. So once we make one, I can encode the recipe for the crystal cluster blocks, and then I can try to request 32 of these. Because these take a lot of infusion, like, 750 plus resources, they'll probably be a couple minutes, 5 to 10 minutes per infusion. Because the bulk of the time for infusions is how long, it takes for all these things to, like, stream in slowly. Anyways, what's this doing? Creating a dagger of sacrifice. Oh, okay. That's made here, and this is currently locked up by that. All right. Are you almost done? No, you're not. Cancel. All right. So remember what I said earlier about not using this altar for anything? Apparently that was a lie. Anyways, the dagger itself is also a bit of an infusion, so I'm just going to let it run and we'll come back when it's done. The reason I needed a piece of blessed stone before I could autocraft it is because I have to be able to add it to this filter. I think there's no reason I have to rename it, right? Yeah, it only goes in the middle. Cool. And then I can put this recipe in somewhere. I'm actually out of sides on this chest to put recipes on. I guess that's not technically true. I still have the bottom. No, I guess if I have the bottom, I may as well use the bottom. Alright, so we can put the recipes on the bottom. Previously, I had been pulling recipes out that I figured I was, that were basically, yeah, I'll never need this recipe again, and storing them in a chest here. But for now, I'll put them in the bottom of the interface. Sooner or later, I'll run out of recipes again. But I'll cross that bridge when it happens. So anyways, lastly, I just have to add crystal cluster blocks here. This filter, thankfully, doesn't need an item, a first item. I can use ghost items for it. I am almost running out of room here. If I do run out of room, I'll just have to use another side, I guess. In any event, that should allow us to crystal cluster. Okay, so let's figure out exactly how many I need before I request them. So it's 32 for the drums, and infinity catalysts are, no, those are just blessed stone. Okay, so is this only for drums then? It is. Okay, so I need 32 crystal cluster blocks. Ging. Alright, so what are we missing? I'm short about 100 dragon eggs. I'll go kill some dragons. That's no big deal. I've gotten used to that. Some firewater buckets. They're being auto-produced. I guess it's just I don't happen to have enough at the moment. They're being used to make lava crystals, so I'll just bump the threshold on our lava crystal production. Right now I have it at 1,000. I'll, put a drawer upgrade on there. And I need a few more weak blood shards. Wow, we use a lot of weak blood shards. All right, so I'll go put the stuff in the drawers, because this is also just limited by a drawer right now. So I'll upgrade the drawers a little bit in the places that are relevant, and then I'll go kill some dragons. All right, let the dragon slaughter begin. If I'm spawning, one dragon per 6-ish seconds? 6? Yeah, about 1 per 6 seconds. This will take me about 10 minutes. It's not too bad. Get a bunch of dragon hearts in the process. Alrighty, I've killed 130, 40-ish dragons, and their hearts should all be in here. Eggs. I don't know why I end up with a few more eggs than hearts all the time, but apparently the way things go. Anyways, let's head back. Alright, so I got those eggs, and for some reason the number of firewater buckets went down, I think? I don't know. In any event, it says I can make it now, so I'm not going to complain. I did put the 1 blessed stone I had back, although I don't think that should account for that much. Whatever. When I craft this, the worst part I think will be these weak activation crystals, which have to be crafted one at a time in the blood altar because they don't stack. But start. And immediately I hear my altar kicking in, which is good. My fusion altar, I think. At least I heard a swap. There we go. Yeah, now it's running. So this will be busy, but that will produce the 32 crystal cluster bricks I need for our creative drums. I really should put some limits on how fast I let my droppers here drop items for crafting. The lag that you feel is actually the frame rate I'm getting. It's because somewhere in that request, I guess there was like a bajillion elf glass that was needed, and because I'm using a translocator to drop them, like they get dropped almost all at once immediately, and they take some time to be converted. But it looks like the lag's already clearing up. I think the bottleneck is how quickly we can actually empty items out of this vacuum chest, which is kind of funny. Anyways, I'm gonna keep an eye on this just to make sure items don't despawn. But I think we're past the worst of it. And yeah, it went ahead and tried to craft 25,000 mana glass at once, which is what caused the lag, unsurprisingly enough, huh? Crafting items that don't stack on the Blood Altar really sucks. It's like once the item starts crafting, it's done in what immediately, basically. But after like there's what 8 to 10 seconds of overhead per item, like between the time before it gets inserted and the time the altar waits before it starts crafting. Come on, we're waiting. Yep, there we go. And like it crafts in 1 second, and then there's a couple seconds before it gets extracted, and then the new item. Oh well. End of the day, I although this part is slow, I don't expect it to actually be the bottleneck. I think the will still be bottlenecked by our infusion altar making like all the daggers and crystal cluster blocks. We're gonna need 8 more. I think it's 8 more anyways. Blessed stone for infinity catalysts. So it's 1 per catalyst, 2 catalysts per ingot, and I think we need. Or it's only 2 ingots, right? For what it's worth, like all these recipes, if we actually care for it, we can make them after we have creative items. Anyways, I guess it's only 2 ingots, so we need 4 more blessed stone. All things considered, that's pretty easy, I think. Oh, nope, looks like we need more fire water. Alright, I'll wait for the previous craft to finish. By then, I'm sure our fire water situation will have improved. Fire water actually takes quite a while to make. First, we have to make hooch with like our poisoned potatoes, and then we have to turn it into fire water. But this step takes a fair bit of time, and it only does a bucket at a time. So I figure I'll add a couple more vats. At the very least, I'll double the rate. I went from 1 set of vats making fire water to 4. So that'll, effectively speaking, quadruple the rate that we make fire water. Should be enough, I hope. Here's a case where the estimated time on the crafting is pretty useless. It says about 2 minutes remaining. That's definitely not right. I'd be shocked if there were less than 2 hours remaining on this craft. But anyways, I just wanted to show that real quick. And now that our this processor automation here has had some time to run, we have 1,000 stacks of calculation processors. We should be able to craft these in significant quantities. 10. Looks like we would be able to make 10, except for the fact that we don't have a crafting CPU big enough to handle it all, on account of there being a lot of items involved. So can I just do 2 batches of, that's 4. 2 batches of 5. Yeah, we have crafting CPUs that can do 1,000,000, or over 1,000,000, and we have a few of those available. So 5 and 5. Can I do 5 more by chance? No, we still need a bit more time for like our Certus farm. Well, our seeds produce Certus and our processors to just make more processors. But in any event, that's putting a lot of these processors to work and getting all of our processor towers started back up again, which is nice. And let's wrap up this episode here. Tomorrow we'll come back, make a couple more neutron collectors, and put the final, touches on our automation before we go on, or at least before I go on my relativistic journey through the universe. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.